Hello and welcome to the Critically Curious. I'm Monk and today, yes, we are in Bellwright. Today's video is going to be about making another settlement. Making another settlement with a purpose. So join me as we embark on a brand new journey, because I've reached a point within my own game now where I've decided that another settlement could be rather handy. Now, I haven't just wanted to make another settlement to have 3 or 4 settlements within the game. I kind of wanted to actually just have one core central settlement, and now I need an outpost because I need wheat. Yes, this location may be familiar to you because I spent an awful lot of time here collecting wheat for so bloody many things. It's ridiculous. I didn't realize how important wheat was within Bellwright, but you do need an absolute abundance of it, and I am fed up of constantly coming here, picking my pockets full of wheat and then buggering off back home, or taking my entire village to the wheat field, loading our pockets up, and again going home. So I'm going to make a little outpost here where my villagers do this for me all the time, including dropping off for deliveries all of that lovely thatch that I actually need. I'm sorry, Monk, but how do we do that, I hear you ask? Well, join me as we sort that out. Now, a few buildings that we need. We need a stockpile, which we have already got down. I would actually recommend putting 2 stockpiles down. We have a weaver, which is going to be a rather incredibly annoying building to put up. And of course, the most advanced building that we are putting within this area. You don't need to have it down. However, I feel that once we are all set up, them being able to turn that wheat into thatch before it gets back home would be beneficial. So I kind of want to give them something to do just in case they get a little bit bored. This settlement, this outpost, is going to have exactly 4 members, so we need to make sure that they are housed. We're going to put 2 shacks down because you can have 2 people per shack. We're also going to put a way to make some food down. I think the smoker is the better option here because smoked food lasts a little bit longer, and of course I can deliver to them if need be raw food to smoke whenever they need. Whenever placing structures, although we are going to stick this one here, be careful about being too close to your resource. You do have a tendency to accidentally stop resources from growing back if you build too close to the resources that you are harvesting. So keep that in mind. However, as we said earlier, we are going to need 2 of these because we're going to have 4 villagers to set up this lovely little outpost. Now, as you can see, we actually have a stockpile, and a stockpile full of goods. All these goods are going to be ingredients that we actually need in order to get these buildings up off the ground.
1 hour later.
Now, yes, 1 hour later, my villagers finally rocked up to their brand new home. So, of course, you need to make sure that you set them to their new location. As you can see, they are all under the monk's temple currently. So we simply hit switch, and then we can switch it to the wheat field. This outpost name is, of course, very smartly called wheat. So we're going to switch them all now. Again, we do have 4. One of them seems to have got lost on the way, but we are switching these 3 right now from my main settlement to my outpost. Then after that, you can access the priorities. If you're wondering why certain priorities are blacked out, because of course these are the priorities that they're actually able to accomplish within this outpost, because of course we don't have a ton of buildings to do a ton of the things that it wants you to do here. When it comes to prioritizing what you want to put your things under, I wouldn't recommend putting everything under one priority. I typically work on a 3-tier priority list, that being 5, 3, and 1. You have to understand that everything will need doing eventually, and you want to give them a leeway to do all the different things, 1 is the most urgent thing. So if you have everything set to 1, that's then going to become your average. However, if you free up 1 and only use it sparingly, in other words, you turn certain buildings and certain things to 1 priority as and when you need them, you can then turn it back down to 3 when it becomes less urgent to you. Of course, for a small outpost like this, it really doesn't matter. There's not going to be a huge amount of jobs, so we're going to set everything that way anyway.
More moments later.
Now, yes, more moments later, we are continuing to build the small structures that we have set up here. And as I said, that weaver's hut is a serious building. You do need a craftsman's hammer to do it. And it is an absolute pain in the butt to do yourself. So if you want to help speed this process up, make sure your villagers that you have brought to this camp actually have craftsman hammers as well in order to help yourself out. Because keeping track of all these little white dots and hammering them all down myself was just a headache. I would also mention, again, this is a luxury item. This isn't something you need to have within your outpost in order to make the outpost actually work. I think that if I was just to have this outpost for collecting wheat and having that wheat delivered to my main settlement, that would also go a huge way to help out and relieve the stress of needing that resource. But after an awful lot of work, we finally have our weaver's hut down, which is pretty cool. So make sure you go over to manage what you want from it. And of course, what we want from it is thatch. This is going to be something that we're going to have set to top up. We're going to put a large number in to make sure that our villagers are always working towards this. We do want a never-ending supply, and we want our stockpiles absolutely full of thatch. Thatch or wheat or straw. Either one, it doesn't matter, but we want one of them in our stockpiles ready to, of course, move on. That being said, like an absolute dummy, I forgot to put down thrashers. I would recommend putting down 2 of these because we're going to have 4 workers anyway, so having 2 work sites where we can turn that wheat into straw is probably a really good idea.
A few moments later.
The other item I would put down, which I forgot to mention earlier in the video, of course, is a foragery camp. The foragery camp enables you to set your villagers to harvest wheat, which is exactly what this entire camp is for in the first place. Without it, would my villagers still work and grab wheat? Absolutely, it totally would. However, it would probably prioritize everything in the area, including any flax, for instance, or wood on the floor and stuff like that. The foraging camp enables you to actually dictate what it is you want to harvest. What the purpose of this camp is in the first place is to get wheat. So this enables me to set priority to wheat and to set that as the primary priority. Again, make sure you work the top up, make sure you have got that within the thrashers as well. And after that, guys, your camp essentially is done. Now we are missing one last ingredient to make sure this camp kind of works on an autopilot, but it's not necessary. So if this is all you want to do, then hey presto, you got yourself a camp. You got yourself a camp that is working towards you having an unlimited supply of the product that you want. Again, we do only have the 1 stockpile here, but I would recommend 2 because it is going to build up rather quick. Now, I'm sure you're asking, but Monk, how do we set up deliveries? And this is going to be something that might cause you a headache, because I wasn't too sure how to set up deliveries. I wasn't too sure how to do it on console, and all of the information I could find led me down a rabbit hole that meant I simply could not do it, and I didn't think it was actually possible on console. However, it is. And all you need is a small caravan. And yes, you are going to have to build a small caravan and at least 1 trolley to go along with it at this location. However, once you've managed to make yourself a lovely small caravan and cart, as you can see, evidence. Now, you can, of course, make more carts. You're not limited to just the one. Go along, add routes. Make sure you add that route. We are going to add a settlement. And as you can see, it says the Monk's Temple, which is my main settlement. We are going to input the resource that we plan on making a delivery to, that being thatch. That is the processed wheat that we want. That's the end goal. I'm going to have 50 delivered. They only take up one slot per thatch, therefore one cart can take 50. Now, notice how I said top up. Now, top up means that my main settlement, Monk's Temple, should never fall below 50 thatch. Now, what it actually delivers is going to depend upon what we actually have within our own stockpile over at wheat. And of course, what we have in our stockpiles or storage depots over at the Monk's Temple, and it's going to make up the difference. The other thing that I'm going to have on delivery, of course, is more wheat, because I need both, because of course I need an awful lot of grain as well. I'm sure you will too. Therefore, I'm going to be able to make sure that I deliver this every single day, and it is a daily delivery that happens. Unfortunately, one of your villagers actually take that cart and physically take it to your other base as well. Therefore, you're going to have to make sure that one of your villagers are set to deliveries within their priorities. But just like that, we have not only made ourselves a brand new outpost with a job that it is doing, but we'll also set up automated deliveries of that product as well. And of course, in turn, we could go ahead and go to Monk's Temple and arrange for wheat to get a shipment of food every day if needed. To make sure that they are fully stocked up and don't need to worry about food as well. Or of course, you can just jump back every few days and fill their supply yourselves if you wanted to. But there you have it, guys. This is my brand new outpost that is going to be supplying my main town with nothing but thatch and wheat for as long as I want them here. And it turns out 4 happens to be the perfect number to make sure that productivity is at its peak. But until next time, I've been a monk who's been a critically curious, and I'll see you in the next video real soon. Until then, take it easy and happy gaming.